What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sip Off, where we have drinks and we talk all things basketball. But first, let me go ahead and get my guests in here. We got Will. What's up, Will? How are you? Willer Light. I love you
So
brought
happy.
the old nickname back. I love it. I love it.
So happy the show is back and ready for action.
Me too, me too. All right, guys, I'm going to bring on our next guest. We have a newbie with us. We got Coach Dante. What's up, Coach? How are you?
How y'all doing today, man? I'm ready to get going, man. Let's do it.
Awesome. Awesome. So glad to have you a part of the show. Can't wait to get into your basketball tapes. I've seen several of your shows, so super excited for you to be a part of this. All right, we got Steve Shawanda. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Megan? How you doing? Oh, it's so good to be
I'm doing
back.
really well. Doing really
And
well.
and I want to thank
Yes.
Willer Light for sending me some stuff. I am sponsored by Willer Light, so thank you, Willer. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Of
You
course.
said you're sponsored by that.
Yeah.
He
All
is.
right. Hey,
I
Jordan. I
can
see you in the
support.
comments. So, since our last episode, Jordan's team has won. Finally, the Denver Nuggets have a championship. And I will say, before we kind of jump into NBA, doesn't look like the Nuggets have lost a thing. All right. So, everybody, what's everybody drinking tonight?
The
Just a Willer
staple.
Light? Are y'all
The
okay?
staple. Just the
Okay.
staple.
I have the Willer Light, and then I have one of these ready for later.
I had a Dr.
Okay.
Pepper.
So,
What's in the cup, Steve?
oh, that's just a Jaeger bomb.
Oh, Jaeger bomb.
Just a Jaeger
Okay,
bomb.
okay.
Just a Jaeger bomb.
All right,
No
guys.
Henny in
Well,
the
I
cup yet.
figured we
No
will
Henny in the cup yet.
no Hennessy tonight. Okay.
No Henny
Well, I
tonight. No Henny
figure
in the
we
cup yet.
it's early in the season for some Hennessy. All right, so I figured tonight we would just kind of reacquaint ourselves with the viewers. It's been since what, May since we had an episode. Super excited to be going into season 4. When I started this show, how I started this show, we were doing the NFL carousel, and it was 2020. So y'all know I'm a Dallas fan. Y'all know what 2020 was like for me. Dak broke his leg. Cooper, he came in, he played pretty decent for a little bit. And then we had Andy Dalton, who didn't know how to tank right. It was just, by the time mid November hit, I wanted to kill myself and not talk about the Cowboys anymore. So I started this show so that we could talk about basketball. They were having the draft, they had the bubble in October, they had their finals. And then came November, we had the draft. And that's when I went into start a show. That's how the Sip Off came about. Won the division. I mean, yeah, we won the division, but he didn't know how to tank right. It ended up working out because we got Micah Parsons because of that. Thank you, Philadelphia Eagles, for that.
I'm still bitter
But
about that.
uh,
As a Cowboys fan, I'm still bitter about that. We won't go in there though. We won't go into that though, because you know why I'm bitter
look, don't
about that.
right. Well, don't get me started, and I'll start talking about the Texas Rangers on here. Y'all know I'm just a few days away from winning the World Series from the first time ever. So I am y'all lucky I'm not on here on Rangers gear right now. But I just, that's kind of how this show came about. I started thinking about names for it, and I was like, oh, I wanted to do drinking, because me and my friends, we like to drink. We make shot videos. We hang out. And we talk basketball. So I was like, all right, well, I feel like this would make a great show. And how do you play off of that? Tip off, sip off. That's how we came up with that. And now we're going into season 4. So super excited. Thanks for everybody who watches, who comments, shares the show. Really appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and kind of introduce ourselves and talk about what teams we like and what has happened so far, whether it's the NBA season, the NCAA season, off season. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about in particular, feel free. So we're going to go clockwise. We'll start us off.
Yeah, I'm Will, aka Willer Light. The nickname is from Steve, thank goodness. He is sponsored by them, I can affirm. I am a diehard Charlotte Hornets fan. Right now, we are a mediocre team who has LaMelo Ball, and we have rookie Brandon Miller. And we're a mix of young and old on our team, man. But the guy I want to talk about, and Megan said, bring up a player who you've liked so far this NBA season so far. The guy I'm really, really enjoying watching. I think like it's going to sound obvious, but it's true. It's Victor Wembanyama because this guy's balling out for San Antonio, and this guy's just
Okay.
tearing it up. Like the other night, he went off. I mean, off. Yes, he struggled in Madison Square Garden, but you know what? That's the Mecca. It's a hard place to play. You're dealing with a lot of eyes on you. He's in quoted and saying, I didn't know how big it was until I walked in to that arena.
Right.
But you know what? The guy's balling out. Props to him. I wish the Hornets got him, but you know what? He's doing great things in San Antonio, and I think he's killing it. I'm also a UNC men's basketball fan. We brought back Armando Bacot. Caleb Love transferred. We also brought back RJ Davis, but we also added Cormac Ryan and Harrison Ingram from the transfer portal. We're ranked number 16 to start the year. I expect us, in my opinion, to be second in the ACC, unfortunately, behind Duke, because Duke's bringing back 4 starters. But second in the ACC is my expectations. Forgot to say my Hornets expectations. I'm gonna say we're at like 30 to 35 wins. We're gonna miss the playoffs. We're our team is so injury prone, from Gordon Hayward to LaMelo Ball. Those guys have been struggling with injuries the last 2 years. And lastly, I'm a UConn women's fan, and I'll tell you guys why I'm a fan of each before I wrap up. Um, I expect us to win the Big East, be the best team in the Big East. Last year we lost in the Sweet 16, but I'm excited to watch Paige Beckers play again this year. Last year she missed the whole year due to a torn ACL that happened in a scrimmage game, but I expect big things. We started ranked number 2. We also have Azzy Fudd, Aaliyah Edwards, and Nick Mule, who can definitely help the load, because Paige last night was her first game and she only had like 8 rebounds or 8.7 assists. So she's definitely on a limits restriction, but
Right.
she's changed her regimen. She gets up earlier. She's going to bed
Mhm.
earlier. She's doing a lot more things that a future WNBA player should be doing, like eating right, going to bed right,
Okay, cool.
exercising more. Um, she still looks skinny, but she said she's gained quite a bit of muscle. Um, and then,
Mhm.
but quickly, why I'm a fan of each. I'm a Hornets fan because I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been through the Bobcats, yes. And I'm a Hornets fan because of that. I'm a UNC men's fan because, hence, again, I live in Charlotte. And lastly, I'm a UConn women's fan because I was born in Stamford, Connecticut. So, yep, you'll hear me talk about those 3 most of all. Quickly, before I wrap up, I know I'm ranting. I already said who's impressed me for NBA. I'll go for college basketball. Um, I haven't really watched their games, and I know this sounds crazy coming, um, but I think at first I didn't know what. I know this may sound homerish. I didn't know what to expect with Armando Bacot's draft stock, but you know what? I think if he can stay out of foul trouble, I think he can be a first round, late first round, early second round pick. And for the women's side, you know what? I'm tied. I got Paige Beckers, my girl from UConn, who I think could win National Player of the Year if all goes right. And then you
Mhm.
got Caitlin Clark, who's the triple double queen. So that's all I have for you guys.
Right.
I'm glad to be back. Couldn't be happier. And let's have another great season.
Now do a shot.
Okay.
No, I'm just joking.
I got a beer.
But take a drink. Take a drink. Take a drink. All right. All right, Coach. Talk to us. Introduce yourself to everybody and talk to us about your teams.
Those of y'all don't know, man, I'm Coach Dante. A lot of people know. A lot of people will know who I am, but I'm glad to be the new person of this. Shout out to Megan, my guy Steve. Will. Well, first of all, my squad. I'm a diehard Houston fan. All around. Houston Texan fan. You guys see them right here. Diehard Houston Astros fan, 2-time World Series champs. Shout out to the Rangers. They
Appreciate that.
this year than us. So shout out to them. But guess what? The title stays in the AL West. So that's the most important thing. So I like that right there. I'm a diehard Wings fan, Dallas Wings fan, diehard Longhorns fan, both boys and women. Like I say again, again, the Wings, impressive season this year. We went through some ups and downs pretty much. We did beat some teams. We did beat some teams like the Mystics. The Mystics was hurt. They were better than what you expected, but they were down. They were hurt. We did get a big win over the Aces. We were the only team to beat the Aces. I believe to beat the Aces, the Liberty. Throughout that same month that we had coming out of that All-Star break, we beat the Liberty. So we had a great season. We did go through some issues with Tiara McCowan. Not a big Veronica Burton fan. She's good on defense, but terrible, not good on offense. She can't spread the floor that much. Crystal Dangerfield, her height seems to get involved in every big game that we have. Her height is really a problem. Can't wait till Santa Shaw comes back and Stephanie Sorens comes back. But overall, it was a great season for the Dallas Wings. We just ran into a buzzsaw in the Las Vegas Aces, who that the league kind of pissed off Asia Wilson by not giving her the MVP, and she kind of proved it in the WNBA finals where she outplayed Breanna Stewart. And I'm a diehard Houston Astros fan. Got to give credit with credit due, man. The Rangers, they were better than us. We couldn't win games at home all year. We were just bad at home all year. That is what it is. But the Rangers team, they were a better team when it mattered the most. In the playoffs, when it mattered the most, they got some guys on that team, and we couldn't stop Corey. Nobody couldn't stop Corey Seager throughout the whole series. Nobody could pitch to him. But you got to give credit with credit due. They were the better team. But the Astros struggled all year long. Rama Valdez struggled all year long. Diehard Rockets fan. I thought when I watched Rockets basketball for 4 straight years, we went without a point guard. We didn't have a point guard for 4 straight years.
Right.
Kevin Porter Jr. is not a point guard. He's not a point guard. He's a 2 guard. And when I watched my Rockets for the last 4 years, I thought it was an ANU team out there. I thought we were playing ANU basketball out there. I thought the coach was coaching for ANU. So other than that, now you're seeing the coaching matters. You're seeing the coaching difference with Ime Udoka, someone who coached Boston a championship to the Boston Celtics. Not a championship, but he went to the NBA Finals with them. Now you see that paying dividends of our young guys stepping up and adding some veterans in that locker room. And like I say, I'm a diehard Houston Texan fan. Got our rookie quarterback. Now you see how he's playing. 14 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, lit up the Bucks this weekend for 5 touchdowns. We got Tank Dell as a rookie. So I'm definitely very excited. And the Lady Longhorns, Roy Harmon is back with us. She's back with us. Our sharpshooter's back. Last year, we could not count the season that we wanted when we got ran off our own court by Louisville last year. That was a game that I had to watch. We couldn't make a layup, couldn't make a jump shot against Louisville. We couldn't do nothing in that game. We just got our ass totally kicked against Louisville. Hope it beats different this year. And the men Longhorns, very proud of them. Made it to the Elite 8 last year. So I hope more success comes. But that's Coach Dante. That's me.
I've got one last thing to say. I forgot to mention I am a Seattle Storm fan because I love my girl, now retired, Sue Bird.
Right, yeah. Well, and you got Gold Mamba over there. Joe Lloyd is cold. So, all right, Steve, talk to us about your teams.
All right, so for pro, I am in Michigan, so I am a Pistons fan. I am wearing the Dennis Rodman, Southeast Oklahoma State college jersey right now. Got my Bad Boys hat on. At some point during the show, maybe this season we'll throw on some Piston jerseys. Also love the Warriors mainly because I'm a huge Steph Curry fan. But Draymond also I've known since he was a freshman in high school. Actually had a coach against him. That was not fun. They ended our season 2 years in a row, as you could probably guess, as they won back-to-back state championships. They won back-to-back state championships. But yeah, I've loved Steph Curry since he was at Davidson. I actually went to the Ford Field game in the Sweet 16 when he was at Davidson when they beat Wisconsin in the Sweet 16. So I've been on Steph for a long time. Love watching him play. And it's a great segue. I love watching the female version of him, Caitlin Clark.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And I would wear her jersey that I have, but luckily my friend of mine, Raina Harmon, name drop, is an assistant coach at Iowa, and I sent it to her and she got it signed, so it's now signed and framed on my wall. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, watching them right now, watching my Chippewas, because I did go to CMU. So for college, CMU men's and women's, I care about the most because I'm invested in them. I know their staff. I know I know the players. I can go to practices whenever I want. But other than that, just because I live in Michigan, I guess Big Ten basketball I watch a lot of, and really just all basketball I watch a lot of. Let's be honest.
That's true.
I watch a lot of basketball. But yeah, player wise, yeah, obviously Caitlin Clark, obviously. Willer's girl Paige, 8-7-4. Last night I watched a little bit of that. Oh, I watched most of the first half of that, but yeah, she probably is at a little bit of minutes restriction, but you also got to remember, Will, they also were playing Dayton and they were up by like 40. So, they played like 8 people 20 minutes, so they were, spreading the wealth a little bit, but it was just good to see her playing again. I think it was like 530 something days or whatever in between actual, college games. So it's just great to see her back. Man, it's going to be, watching Iowa and Va Tech right now. Va Tech returns, 3 stars from a Final Four team.
Right.
They're good. And obviously South Carolina made a huge, talk about impressive. They made a huge statement against the top 10 Notre Dame team. They might not have been at full strength, but Notre Dame, it's not like they beat, Stephen F. Austin, Texas Corpus Christi, A&C, School of the Blind. Like, they beat another top 10 team and ran them off the floor. So that they definitely made a statement. USC looked good against Ohio State that same day. So some of those earlier, I know Florida State beat Tennessee tonight. There's been some nice, early matchups, but LSU losing to Colorado. Props to Colorado; they look great. If Jordan's still listening to talk about his Colorado team, but they looked great. Obviously, LSU is going to be fine. But I say I love college basketball. I'm excited about the men's tournament. Obviously, with the tournament, the season first, but then the tournament. But I'm really geeked about women's college basketball. It's going to be so good.
Sunday, especially Maryland versus South Carolina, and then there's another big game, Indiana someone.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. It just flashed.
All right. Yeah, Sundays is a busy. So obviously you got NFL, but it's a busy. It's
not
busy
for
sports,
me.
It's a busy sports day. Yeah, it's a busy sports day when you got. Hold on. I'm gonna see now. Now you made me pull it up. Because I can't not give the people what they want here,
the Indiana versus someone.
Indiana Stanford. Yeah,
That's
Stanford.
A good
yeah.
One. Give me Stanford.
Okay.
So that's Indiana's the 9 seed, Stanford's the 15 seed right now. Obviously, this is not the same Stanford program from probably the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So we saw Haley Jones go pro. Free her from the ATL dream. I'm sorry. Cool. I'm sorry. Your coach doesn't know how to play my girl. I don't know why we didn't draft her. Free Haley Jones. Just let me get that off my chest real quick.
There's
I actually, because like me and Key, we covered the WNBA draft. I wanted Haley Jones. I was screaming for Haley Jones.
Me too.
I wanted Haley Jones so bad on our Dallas Wings. I did. I really did.
And Atlanta's still.
Hey, we got JJ, we got Joseph in here. What's up, Joseph?
Oh, JJ coming in.
I'm there.
Hey, so glad to have you on.
Yes, thank you. Look at the hair.
And
look at that.
Oh, thank you. Well, in perfect timing because I've been really good. So we were just going through and letting everybody know who we're fans of, and if there's anything that's happened in the season so far, whether it's NBA, NCAA, if there's anything that happened in the offseason, whatever the hell you want to talk about, if there's anything you want to touch on, feel free, and it's your turn.
Oh, well, good to be on. I have been chilling. This is going to be a very, 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 very fun season with the Washington Wizards, and I do mean that in the most comical sense ever. There's not really much to look forward to with this team. But I will say this, for the sports bets purposes, there's a good reason to come and play against the Wizards because you can score everywhere. You can score from the inside, you can score from the outside, you can score from the 5, you can score from the 1, you can score in transition, you can score in it does not matter. You can score. I was literally talking to one of my friends today. I said, Tony Snell could score 20 points on this team, but just from the way that they play.
No.
There is literally I enjoy the crapshoot that this season is. I'm just saying. So not much to go there with the Wizards. So that's that, guys.
How many could PJ Tucker score? That's the question.
Listen, I will tell you straight up. If your best player is
playing
and you're playing him,
my boy.
Oh, what's going on, sir? Yes, I could not miss this. Listen.
Yeah, we're so glad.
Even the Hornets had a chance at beating us, and the only reason why they didn't beat us is because we shot better. That's it.
Because we suck.
Okay, so but we, not everybody knows this, but you're a Terp fan also. So talk to us about the Terps a little bit.
It's a lot of, interesting year for them. They got to, after course, this is I think it's his second or third year with this team. Anything is possible with them. I haven't had a chance to really dive into it because there's been a lot going on in my job, but
okay, no problem.
I do know that they had some bright spots this last season. They have a good chance they might be ranked this year coming in. So we will see.
Let me look. I can find out for you.
Yes. Listen, let me tell you how much I am so happy to be back on here. I'm not gonna lie. I was in the middle of watching Invincible, and I was like, "Oh snap! I got to get on the thing." My bad.
Yeah, y'all are ranked 14th right now, and you beat Harvard on Monday, 98-75, and then you play Sunday. Ooh, sheesh! Y'all got SC. So they're ranked 6th. Maryland is ranked 14th, and y'all play them come Sunday. Anticipations for that game?
So, I'm excited to see what I'm going to do against a ranked opponent. At the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, from my opinion, when you're a ranked team in college basketball at the early part of the year, because you are playing teams that you won't be facing down the line who, in your conference, are pretty strong. I'm excited to see about them. I don't know what USC is about. I'm ready to excited to see what they're going to do with us.
Oh, shoot.
Man, Juju Watts, man. Damn, that girl good.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
So we gonna see.
I'm not sure who. So on these it says Facebook user. So I don't know if you're commenting on the one that's in the sip off. For some reason, when I go live to the groups, and you comment on the one that's in the group, it doesn't show your name. But if you go to my page and comment on that one, it should show your name. So
I've got a
confession that, but yes.
I've got a confession to make. I already drank my whole beer.
Oh my God!
Drink another.
Yeah,
so, ironically, my drinking days are coming to an end.
No, this isn't JJ. I know. No more styrofoam cup. R.I.P. styrofoam.
No, it's a wonton soup cup that he drinks.
No
it's like a jug.
It's temporarily. Temporarily.
Hey, no, you do what you got to. You can do what you got to do. It's
Exactly.
something that I've talked about on my Facebook about a couple weeks ago, but I actually haven't had any liquor in a couple of months. And
Good
so
for
when I do
you.
drink, it'll probably be wine or, y'all know I like the ranch water, so it'll probably be something like that. But I haven't had any liquor in a couple of months, and I gotta say, I
Yeah.
just like how my body feels. So I think I'm just gonna roll with it
Okay.
for a while.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
telling you. You already
Hey, it just says sip off. It doesn't have to be alcohol. You do you, JJ. We're good. We're good.
Right,
know-
right. Yeah,
they
no
know
pressure,
that.
no pressure. But if you
It
want to
doesn't say
drink, y'all know
drink
that
off.
this is the place for it. So,
Apparently,
Will, wow.
Will's drinking enough for all of us, so we don't have to. If he already finished his
JJ,
man.
talk to me about men's college basketball. So, have you had a chance to kind of delve into that at all?
Honestly, I'll be honest. Work has been a lot for me. Work has been a definite
Okay.
change because so
I know you got to be working a lot because college basketball is your thing.
Yeah,
like for example, I don't even get a chance. I don't even get a chance to really watch a lot of games. Like for example, tonight I'm not going to be able to watch anything because I got to get up and be at work by 7:30 in the morning. So it's like
I get it.
I sleep.
I get it.
I actually sleep through games, and it's like I have to get back into it. But it's just like as I we'll see. But I will going to delve into that because I'm very excited to see. I want my Terps to get another one. I want my Terps to make some noise. So, but I will give y'all more some next week.
Well, I mean, I think that the top 20 really in the women's basketball. I don't know that it looks like necessarily anybody has a chance, but anybody has a chance to make a deep playoff run out of those like top 20.
Easily.
I think what
like
I will.
any one of those could make a really top, like a Final Four appearance is kind of what it seems like. I don't know that necessarily. Now, let's talk about thoughts on the LSU game. Now, I know that was something that had Twitter going crazy. Everybody was talking about take away the new dressing room. Y'all are terrible. Those young ladies earned that. It was their first title, and new adjustments. Like you're having new rotations. You have new players. You graduated a few players. Like things are going to be different. Now, do I think you got to focus? You got to buckle down? Absolutely. I think Kim Mulkey is the one to get the job done with them, though. So just my personal opinion on that. But let's talk about the LSU game and the Colorado upset.
I will say, and I'll see if Coach Dante agrees with me. For a coach in basketball, I bet you Coach Mulkey loved it because they've been having their fun as they should have. They deserved it. They won a national championship, and obviously now with the NIL deals, you get more commercials and you get, more followers and this and that. And you get a new, D on Facebook.
Hey, Darnell.
What up, D? But yeah, you get all those things, which, by the way, at a high major program like LSU, they deserve nice things like that. Okay. Let's just
absolutely
get that clear. So in the first game, I think it's the perfect time for it to happen. Is it embarrassing a little bit? Yeah. Is it going to, catch people's few eyes? Yeah. Are people going to make a few jokes? Yeah. But for the people that really matter, the athletes that really matter in that locker room, the coaching staff, they can now regroup because you're like, okay, now we don't have to even think about the pressure of going undefeated all year. True. We can just focus on what our actual goals are, which have to be a conference championship, a conference tournament championship, an NCAA championship. Those are your three goals. Right? If you're a high major, top of the level college basketball program, you want to win the regular season conference championship, you want to win the conference tournament championship, and you want to win the NCAA championship. Guess what? They can still do all three of those things. So it's the perfect time to have, I know there's no such thing as a good loss, but it's a great time to regroup, and for them, because I live in Michigan, unlike the Michigan State loss to James Madison, at least it was to another good team. It's not like they lost a guaranteed game on their home floor to a team that they paid $750,000 to, right? So it was still a good team. So, I think they'll be fine.
Oh, that
So,
makes me laugh. Michigan State.
but what, so,
Okay, so here
They're up,
about
they're up by
LSU though.
25 tonight, though. They're up by 25 tonight. They're bouncing back against Southern Indiana.
so with the LSU
Well,
girls,
I think they're playing Queens actually.
Yeah, my girls.
I'm talking about
They're
Michigan
gonna
State.
kill
Michigan
them.
State is, but Iowa, yes.
Oh,
LSU
Michigan
plays.
State. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So
LSU's
Michigan
playing
or
Queens.
LSU doesn't have another ranked game until let's see the 30th of November. They play Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is ranked 8th. And then they don't have another ranked game until January. So something that has been a topic of discussion when it comes to LSU is how light their schedule is. It's something we talked about going into the tournament last year. Obviously, they got hot at the right time, and they played well during the season, but they answered those critics when it came to the tournament. So,
And they're up by
thoughts
26
on their
They're
schedule
up by
being so
26
light.
and a half. Yeah, they're up
So
at
really
by
quick.
26 and a half. I just looked.
So real quick, I just think, I think it is a loss that actually was needed, because at the end of the day, they had the glamour, they had the crown on Angel's head right as they were introducing. It was a lot of things coming in, and I know they've seen that team in South Carolina with their fresh new recruit being able to handle business the way they do. So would you rather have that team come to you? You have this hoopla thinking you're the greatest thing since, sliced bread, and well deserved, and they beat you to pieces. It's one thing to lose to your first game of the season, but it's another game to lose to another team who many believe have a chance to make it all the way and win it. I think, now you got to incorporate these pieces, and now Kim is like, all right, look, y'all got y'all butts beat. What are you going to do? And if you are the team that you think you are, you should roll through everyone you face and be able to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, because you really are top to bottom quite the most talented roster in all of college basketball.
Well, last year LSU had to deal with that. You remember when they said everybody was saying they had a soft schedule, and they won a national championship last year. They won. I believe they won. I thought was it them or South Carolina won SEC last year. I thought it was South Carolina. Okay, it was South Carolina that won, but they supposed to had a soft schedule last year, and they still end up winning the national title. So I think this is the loss that they definitely need, especially getting Nisa Morrow from DePaul, who didn't like her situation in DePaul, and Haley Van Lent, who didn't like her situation at Louisville.
Right.
When she first transferred, nobody knew why, but then it started coming out that she didn't like the situation that she was in. So when you get all these, you already have Flau'jae Johnson in the lineup already. So it's going to take some time for them to get going, for them to hit their stride. But I still think they will be fine. I think they will be fine in the tournament, NCAA tournament. I think they can beat anybody and match up against anybody in the NCAA tournament. I think they could.
Okay. Will, what are your thoughts?
Everyone's nailed it so far. It's better sooner than later, because the later against a ranked team can't speak. It's better sooner than later, because a loss will even motivate you even further, because if you wouldn't have lost and you go in and you go undefeated and then you go in the tournament and you lose first round, then you're going to get criticized like crazy. Yes, they're getting criticized right now, but it's better sooner than later.
Okay. My thoughts on it is I feel like, I got to go the other way. I think they're going to struggle, not in the regular season, but what I think they hit tournament time, they're going to struggle, because I think the competition has gotten better. SC, we weren't sure, some of us, like, I realized, like, no matter what Dawn does, I'm going to be a fan and I'm going to have faith in what she does. But I was curious to see how is SC going to look post Aaliyah Boston, the same way we felt whenever Asia graduated. Like, we knew the product they had, we knew the team they had, but obviously after 4 years, I mean, it just comes time. Programs change. And so how were they going to look? Obviously, SC is going to be fine. We know that UConn is going to be fine, but I think they got better than last year too. They're healthy. Stanford, we'll see how they look. USC is crazy good. We are witnessing the last year of Pac-12 women's basketball. My opinion, I think that is the toughest conference. Their regular season, their conference schedule is crazy. Like every single one of those teams, almost every single one of those teams in the Pac-12 has a chance to make a run at a Final Four appearance. So
Easily.
easily. So for me, I feel like the competition has gotten better, and LSU is going to have to step up. Now, they did look like a super team with those 2 signings that they ended up getting. Oh, hold on, we got another guest. We got Cool. Hey, Cool. What's up, Cool? How are you? Oh, okay. NBA champions. Okay, I like it.
Just a friendly reminder.
Hey, I am mad at it. All right. So I think Texas has gotten better. I think Texas is vastly undervalued. Now we have a light schedule until December. So just keeping it real. I'm glad that we have a month where it's a little bit of an easier schedule. Last season we started the preseason, I think we were ranked number 2, and then we had kind of a flat season. We had an injury-riddled season. Rory was hurt the first 5 to 6 games. She was hurt the last couple of games of the regular season as well. Aaliyah Moore, she tore her ACL in the first part of the season. So we signed a couple of 5-star recruits. I think that we've done a lot over there in Texas. Size will still be an issue. We're undersized right now, and that's just kind of what it is. But I think we have arguably one of the best guards in the league when it comes to sitting out dimes. Now, she's not going to put up the same amount of points as Paige or Caitlin, but she is definitely going to set up those assists, and she is fast. She's only 5'6", but she can play defense. You know who she kind of reminds me of is Crystal Dangerfield for the Wings. She played for UConn. Now she's a couple inches shorter than Rory. Rory's actually 5'6". And one of my favorite parallels between that is Becky Hammond. She's 5'6". She went undrafted, and look at the career that she had.
Is she actually 5'6"?
Yeah, she's 5'6".
I love Becky.
She's tiny.
She's
tiny, just like Rory's really small. But it looks like she's put on a little weight muscle wise, and I think that we're going to see her be able to kind of bully her way around the court a little bit more despite her size or her height anyway. But I think with a little more weight and a little more force in her arms like that, she's going to be able to hang out a little bit more, just as long as her speed isn't affected, because she is very, very fast. She plays really good defense. And if y'all don't know this, she led in dimes in D1 basketball last season. So I think she's incredibly special. And then at the head, we got Vic Schaefer. So I love our coach. And I think Texas women should be a top 7, top 8 team. We'll see what it looks like after the rankings come out.
You know what's crazy, Megan? It reminds me of what I saw in that Paige video. She said she gained a little muscle, even though it doesn't look like it. And she still was hesitant about going to the paint and practice. But you know what? I think it was Gino or her said, with due time, she'll go into the paint again and muscle her way in.
Right.
Because she doesn't look like she's strong, Paige, but she is.
No, I definitely think she is. And when Gino said that she plays basketball better now than she did the year that she won National Player of the Year. Now we know Gino gonna hype up one of his own players, as he should, because he's the coach. But I think that Paige is going to have a chip on her shoulder, because it's like last season happened and there was so much hype about the season. I don't know about everybody else, but the women's season and the women's tournament to me was more exciting than the men's.
Way more fun.
Way more exciting. Not even close, I don't think.
Right. So I think she kind of felt forgotten, you know what I mean? And I think she's going to put that on her shoulders. And once Gino lets loose, because right now she's on minutes restriction, as she should be. She needs to be. But
Oh,
man, watch
yeah.
come the end of December, we're gonna see Paige. I mean, and she might hit her groove before then, but go ahead and give her like 4 to 6 weeks, and I think we see Paige go ahead and putting up some record breaking numbers. So,
Hey, whoever's
as
out
much as I
there,
like CC, but like CC in her first game of the season, she put up 19 points in the first quarter, like insane.
whoever's out there, whoever wants to fund me a Paige Becker jersey, I will take it. Oh, I need one.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the offseason moves in the NBA. Well, cool. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick and talk about the teams that you like. And I'll talk a little bit while you're chewing. Sorry. And then we'll jump over into the NBA and talk about some of the offseason moves. Obviously, Dame going to the Bucks. They had a shakeup over there in Phoenix too.
Yep.
And then before we get out of here, I'm going to drown y'all in the Spurs. So, cool. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Wendy.
I know. Wembanyama, I got to drown y'all in the Spurs before we go.
Of course.
Do we really? Or okay, we'll take it. We'll take it.
It's my show. It's my show and my team. Yeah. But you can talk about the Nuggets all you want.
And your teams, yep.
So we'll start, of course, with your defending 2023 NBA champions, the Denver Nuggets. I don't think I need to say anything else about that. I will, however, say great win last night without Jamal Murray. And that's why Nikola Jokic should always be in the MVP conversation.
Facts.
And you know what? I'm going to just lead that because this is Megan's show. So I'm going to lead that. I'm going to tell you about my other teams. Because if we go into that, it get a little deep. So we're not going to do that.
Don't touch those football teams.
So Philadelphia Eagles is my
I mean,
team.
you can say whatever you want to say about MVP talk. If you feel like Jokic should have had the MVP last year, I think he had an absolute valid case at it.
Well, I will tell you why, since you mentioned it, Nikola Jokic did not get the MVP. Because after he won the second of his MVPs, Joel Embiid started on his crybaby wine tour. Then they went and traded and got him the biggest crybaby, the only other person to campaign and got himself an MVP, and Mr. James Harden. In my opinion, James Harden was only brought there to make sure Joel Embiid got the MVP by helping him learn how to whine and cry the correct way to get it. And it worked. Kudos to them.
Hey,
you whine and cry.
You can say whatever you want to say. I like it.
Yeah, you whine and cry and politics your way into an MVP. And then you did what you always do in the playoffs to show that you're not the MVP. You're not the most valuable player. You're a choke artist. Right? You always will be, and it's funny.
Now you're a Clipper.
I have a lot of hate. I have a whole lot of hate.
It's not hate,
for the Philadelphia 76ers.
It's all facts. It's all facts.
I have hate, though. I have hate, though. But deep down inside, I have hate for the Philadelphia 76ers, which is ironic because I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan. So the same fan base that loves me for football hates me for basketball. And they really hate me this year because every time they say anything to me, I just send them this.
The last two MVPs were decided based off of y'all games against each other. When Jokic,
but that's not how you decide an MVP because we played them 3 times.
Agree.
It was voters fatigue. That's really what I think.
It was crybaby. If you go out and you whine and cry in the media, you get people like Kendrick Perkins to whine and cry with you. You're gonna win. So kudos, you got your regular season MVP. You'll never get a playoff MVP because you have to win.
I will say that they look a lot better. They look a lot better now that they got rid of Harden. Though I do think
the regular season.
I think this.
How many times we gonna see them?
And you're right. No, you're right. They got to deliver in the playoffs. You're absolutely right.
Megan, I will say, I think what you're saying.
We saw. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
My bad. But I think what's interesting is I do think the way they run their offense with the high pick and roll that Embiid facilitate has been rather effective for them to start. And I think Embiid has always been a guy that didn't pass that much because he was always the scoring, but he actually is a pretty good passer. He's not anything like 7, 8 assists a game. But I think the way they run their offense now, and with Nick Nurse letting him play the whole first quarter, it gives him a chance to try to get up. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that he's better than Jokic, because I think with Jokic, it's just there's nothing you can do. There's literally nothing you can do to take him out of affecting the game. He affects the game whether he scores. He affects the game whether he doesn't score. It's just it's insane.
I agree with
that. I'm not sold on that Philadelphia movie. I've seen that movie too many times to be sold. Just to be sold on it. That's the same. We can get all hyped up about offense look better and all that and 6-1, but that's the same goddamn movie I've seen over and over and over and over again. You play a team like the Miami Heat, who's tough in the playoffs in a 7-game series, where you play a team like we've seen the Milwaukee Bucks get there before, or the Boston Celtics, who they can beat in the regular season. But when it's in that 7-game series and the tails get tight, 76ers don't know how to handle it. So that's the movie I done seen over and over and over again. And I'm not gonna be sold on them. Well, I guess this year it's going to be Nick Nurse's fault this year, huh? I guess that's whose fault it's going to be.
We know whose fault it's not going to be.
JJ, are you drinking your water out of your wonton soup cup?
Yeah, I am.
I love it, because then at least the cup is still there.
Yeah.
But WNBA, let a dream. I know Haley hasn't been used correctly, y'all, but just give it time.
Free my girl.
Just give her time. She's still learning. Just give her time. And we know the coach got some work to do, but she's still learning. She's the second year as a coach. Give her time.
Hey, cool.
She gonna get it.
Cool. Tell them who your men's basketball team is.
We about to get to that. We about to get to that, Will. We can go men's and women's. Men's and women's is the UNC Tar Heels.
Let's go.
Okay. It's always gonna be the Tar Heels. I'm still repping those guys that choked their way from number 1 in the preseason didn't even want to go to the NIT. But guess what? You got to ride when they're good. You got to ride when they're bad. And that's what we do over here. Right. That's what Tar Heel Nation does. You know what I'm saying? For basketball. I can only speak on basketball for Tar Heel Nation, because the rest of Tar Heel Nation, I have no cares about in all of this.
Hey, no, y'all got a decent quarterback.
A potential top 5 pick.
That means nothing to me. That means nothing to me. I am a Miami Hurricanes football fan, so I do not care.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
In college football, they can be number 172 of 172, and it wouldn't matter to me.
Okay.
I'm with that.
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Milwaukee. So during the offseason, they acquired Dame Lillard. They did have to move Drew Holiday. It was a part of a 3-team trade between the Phoenix Suns and the Portland Trailblazers. Portland Trailblazers ended up with DeAndre Ayton, the softest center in the league, and then Nurkic, one of the most injured centers, him and AD, ended up down in Phoenix. Who did Phoenix ended up with a coach? They ended up with Luke Walton.
Frank Vogel.
Frank Vogel. Okay, I knew it was one of them fired Lakers coaches. Am I right? One of them fired Lakers coaches, right. And I'm not really sure how he even managed to get that job. But let's talk about Milwaukee though. Now, what are y'all's thoughts on Dame over there? What are y'all thoughts on they're missing Drew Holiday, because clearly they do, and then their thoughts on not getting anybody to be their backup center because Brook Lopez is not the answer anymore. I've been talking about this. I've been talking about this for a minute now, and it's not a knock to Brook and but he's been on the decline. Let's just be honest. He's been on the decline. He's had multiple back surgeries. It just is what it is. So let's talk about Milwaukee.
So if I can, go ahead, Will.
How do you want it to go? I was going to go real fast.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, they're definitely missing a defensive guard in Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday's a great defender at the guard position, but you know what? Dame's gonna Dame's gonna help Giannis with all the scoring, because Chris Middleton, I had him in fantasy basketball last year, and that guy was injury prone like crazy. And that's what prevented them from going back to the finals, him and other things. But yeah, they're definitely going to miss Drew Holiday. But you know what? Dame's going to help Giannis with scoring for sure. And is going to help be that guy, that number 2 guy that teams would love.
Okay. JJ, go ahead.
So I'm not sure of what this rotation is going to be like with this coach. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to come through because, they have, of course, you got Dame coming in. He's primary offensive threat, has no real defensive awareness. You can get him in backdoor cuts all the time. But then you have, like you said, Brooke, who is declining because he's not shooting the ball like he was, the last couple of seasons. And then Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is still trying to get back to speed and stuff. And then the way they manage these minutes is kind of weird. Now, as of tonight, Giannis is showing people that, he's still that MVP form and that when guys are down, he has a chance to still kind of lead this team, which they're up right now against the Pacers and have a chance to kind of close this out. But I think, it's the East is not going to be easy. Like, I don't think it's going to be. I think that if with the new coach and the time it may take, they may be a possibly, I think, between that 4 and 3 seed, because I know that we just went on and talked about how bad, we don't want to hear anything about Philly. But for this conversation, if we're talking regular season, there's a chance that Philly could be in the top 3 spots. And then you got Boston in the top spots.
Sure.
It's just right now, you just don't. It's just too much right now. I think they're still figuring it out. Once they figure it out, maybe by Christmas or so, maybe we have a better indication of the type of team that they may be for the home stretch of the season.
Right. And they're another team with a different coach, a coach in their first year too. So we'll see how that works out for them. Anybody else have anything that they want to say about Milwaukee?
I definitely have a few things I'd like to say about Milwaukee.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Milwaukee, in your genius, you traded away a versatile defender and scorer, a first-time All-Star last year, to get a guy who makes you better on offense. But for every point that he makes you better on defense, you can take 1.5 points away on defense. Damian Lillard does not care about defense in 10 years. So you went and took a team that's predicated on playing defense, grinding, and doing all those things. And I believe it's to placate Giannis, because after Damian Lillard got there, Giannis signed an extension, 3-year extension. So I believe the move was made to placate Giannis. But guess what? Giannis, this just shows me that you didn't play basketball growing up. This shows me that you don't really understand basketball, because you allowed a guy to get out of your building that Boston gobbled up. And I'm going to say, Portland, you're going to wish you kept Drew Holiday too. What I'm going to tell you is this.
Yes.
Drew Holiday is everything at point guard. He's a scorer when you need him to be. He's a facilitator. He plays defense. He can switch anything 1, 2, and 3. He can switch any wing player and beat it with no problem. You let that go. You essentially gave that to Boston. So you ended up giving Drew Holiday to another Eastern Conference team. And guess who's going to be the best team at the end of the year, the Eastern Conference now? The team with Drew Holiday. So Milwaukee, congratulations for going for the stars over everything you've done for the past 5 or 6 years. And this is why you won't win a championship again. So glad you got one, because you just screwed up your chances to get another one for many years to come.
And the funny thing you mentioned about the Drew Holiday is that he brings an element that is even better than what Marcus Smart gave the Boston Celtics, because he actually is actually pretty good scorer on the offensive end to match his defense. That is pretty interesting.
True.
I can tell y'all this.
Yeah, I agree with what you have to say.
When Brooke Lopez decides to go back to Milwaukee, well, I'm goddamn happy you decide to go back to Milwaukee the way you struggling right now, playing basketball right now. Since you tried to bully the Rockets, but now look how you're looking right now. But other than that, I think Milwaukee will be fine. The only questions about it, in the playoffs, teams are going to try to put Dame in a lot of pick and roll situations to get a mismatch on them, and that's why I think it will come down to it right there. But I say, I think Milwaukee will figure it out. Middleton, I'm not trusting him to stay healthy anymore. This guy's, every time he comes back, he's hurt again. He comes back, he's hurt again. I'm not trusting him to stay healthy no more. I think Milwaukee, for right now, the way Boston, if Milwaukee play the 76ers, I'm picking the Milwaukee Bucks. I can't trust the 76ers to beat Milwaukee, not in the 7-game series. But if I had to take the Celtics and Milwaukee, I'm definitely taking the Celtics.
Celtics have more depth.
Drew Holiday, I love that guy.
Porzingis and those guys. Yep. I agree.
Okay. Well, I would jump into the West, but I think, we're pretty close to the hour mark. So instead of jumping into the West, because there's so much to break down over there, I say everybody pick a dark horse team. It doesn't matter what conference, but NBA, pick your dark horse team for this season.
Don't start with me. I'm still thinking.
Okay. JJ, you want to start us off?
So if a dark horse team, I would say to win it all is, and I mean, it may not be like that now because they're in the top 3, is the Golden State Warriors. I think they still have a little bit in their tank. I think they still have a run for them. I think that they, know what they think. They see the competition. I think it's going to be very exciting. With that game against Denver was a really good thing for them. And, if you think back to the year before Denver won the title, Draymond Green said he enjoyed playing Jokic because it always forces him to be at his absolute best day in and day out.
Right.
So I think that's a big deal. The East, I kind of think is kind of pretty much matched up, as well. But I will say, I want to give a shout out to a team that I know it's not going to win it all, but I love watching Orlando Magic play. I love watching their building. I think that Paolo is going to be the next Duke player to actually be something special because he has all the tools. They play like a real team, and I like what they're doing. I don't think they're going to go all the way, but I think they're going to be actually that 6th seed. I don't think they're going to be in the play-in because they have been playing very well together. And last year, they beat some really good teams. They beat the Nuggets when they came into Orlando, which was kind of a bit of a shocker. But, I think they're going to build. I like what they're doing in Orlando down there.
Okay. Steve?
I mean, I don't consider the Warriors a dark horse. I won't even say that. The Warriors are one of the best teams in the West. The loss to the Cavs kind of hurt. Road game on a back-to-back, whatever. But, close loss to the Suns without Draymond, close loss to the Nuggets without Draymond. They're fine. So they're not a dark horse. They're a top 3 team. OKC.
I like it.
I saw my girl say Sacramento, and she's right. They're very good as well. But if you're gonna say dark horse,
they're injured and kind of going through some things right now, but they'll be back.
So I'll say OKC. Not that I think they're gonna win the title or anything like that, but I think OKC is gonna make the playoffs. So I'll give them as a dark horse. And in the East, to be honest, there's 2 teams in the East that can come out of it. That's it. We know what the 2 teams are, and it's going to be Boston, but Milwaukee at least still has a chance. No other team in the East has a chance to get out of the East.
To be honest with you, I will say if you better coach your butt off if you want to play against Miami because they have shown you that if you sleep on them, they will come out.
In a 7-game series, absolutely. But I still think Boston and Milwaukee are beyond anybody else. But
Okay.
So
cool. Oh no, Lazarian, you go ahead.
I want to pick this team so bad in the Western Conference, but I'll say it over and over again. This team is really, really good, man. If they could play together, they don't always play together. And right now they're struggling, but if they can figure it out, I do think they can be a dark horse Western Conference wise, not championship. I don't think they beat in Denver. I'm saying the Clippers. I think the Clippers have the intangibles to do it. They have the players. They have the guys. Tyronn Lue is a great coach. Is a good coach. Tyronn Lue is a good coach. I would say the Clippers have an opportunity to get to the Western Conference Finals. Everything can come together. If Kawhi, I already seen it with Paul George. Paul George led the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals. With him being the main guy. I understand with James Harden on the team, nobody's trusting that. I understand that. That's probably a hold up right there. But It's still, if they can stay on the court, I think they can present a little bit of a problem for squads in the playoffs in a 7-game series if they were healthy. Now they're not going to win the finals. I will still take Denver to win the finals, and Denver is my finals team. And in the Eastern Conference, this team not going to make they're not going to make the finals. They have a chance to make the actual playoff. I'm taking the Pacers in Eastern Conference.
Interesting. Okay. Will?
I'm going to say the Cavaliers once Garland gets healthy, and then you got Mitchell, you got Allen, you got Mobley. So I like that team. They're still figuring out their stuff. And then for the West, I agree with Steve. OKC, you got Chet, who's playing pretty darn well right now, and then you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who has proved himself to be a great young star. Who's, I bet you the Clippers are kind of regretting trading him. So I'll say OKC and the Cavs.
Okay. All right, cool.
So I'm gonna take the lazy way out in the West and say Memphis once Ja gets back. Whole different team once Ja gets back. I'm not saying they're going to the championship, but they can make the play. They can be a top 5 team. I think
they're a playing team, in my opinion. But
I'm concerned with their center depth. They have some real issues at center. So that's if they can make some adjustments, if they were able to maybe if they could sign somebody to come in off the bench for their center position, I would. They're just injured right now. I know Brandon Clark's injured too, so they have 9 players that are going to be out on the Friday game or something like that. So they are injured. I just don't know. I don't know about Memphis. I don't get me wrong. Healthy, I think they're a top 5 team, but I just
trust me. Really, once Ja gets back, just trust me. And before you go, JJ, because you've already told your 2 teams, let me get to my Eastern Conference team.
Oh, my bad.
So my Eastern Conference team is going to be Brooklyn, no mess.
Oh,
because their Brooklyn team, they're going to be good this year.
Cam Thomas is out for 2 weeks.
They're going to be good this year.
He is scared.
I'll give you that. They're scrappy.
Well, they're going to be good this year. You still got Miles Bridges there. Sneaky big pickup, Lonnie Walker. Averaging over 16 points a game for that
was
team.
A good pickup for them.
He's been the third best player in the team
Johnson,
so far this year.
Right? Did they still have Cam Johnson?
They still have Cam Johnson, I believe, but he's not he averages like 12 points a game, but he's not the impact that you would expect based on what he gave last year. But that's why you went out and got some other guys to fill in that gap. You needed a guy like Lonnie Walker. You needed Dorian Finney-Smith healthy playing because you need guys that can put points in the bucket. Cam Johnson is not a 1 or 2 option on offense. If Cam Johnson is your first or second option on offense, then you're in trouble. But this team is good. Dinwiddie's still there, right? Royce O'Neal's there. Claxton. So they've got some pieces. As these young guys develop and get better, they're going to be good together. I like this team. I think they're going to sneak up.
All right. Well, I'm going to. Okay. I like that. I like Mikal Bridges. I think he's incredibly talented. I think he's still very young and yet to hit his ceiling. So I actually like that Brooklyn pick a whole lot. I'm going to do just one team, and it's going to be my team. I don't think that we're going to win, obviously San Antonio Spurs, but I think that we are a team that we're going to love to watch. It's going to take a little time for us to hit our groove. We saw it last night whenever Pop was shaking hands with Tib. You could see it on his mouth. He said it's going to take some time. And that's factual. It's the rotations. It's being able to figure out exactly where you need to be versus different teams. Right now, Keldon Johnson gets kind of lost in the rotations on certain teams that they play. I cannot wait to see us play OKC. I think that is going to be a really great matchup. And I think that's going to be it's going to be a new rivalry, I think, the Battle of the Bigs. So I can't wait for that series. And I think that we're going to see Pop developing this team for the next maybe 2-3 years. And then we see Becky Hammon come back to the NBA once she's had. I mean, she could go for a three-peat. There's no telling. I think she's going to make her mark on the WNBA, and then we see her come back and take over for San Antonio. Now, I don't know if she will be the first female head coach in the NBA. There may be another one before she comes back, but I don't think being the first matters to her. I think going back to where the best situation where she can succeed, because imagine if she would have got that job in Portland instead of Chauncey Billups because she interviewed for it. She would have been set up for failure and probably would have been out of the league within a few seasons. Similar to Washington, she interviewed in Washington. Imagine if she would have gotten that position, not performed well, and they got her up out of there, and then everybody else would have been afraid to put another woman in that position again. So I feel like San Antonio is a place that's tailor-made for her. She has history there. She played there. Like I think she was probably ready, and Pop was ready to give it to her a couple of seasons ago, and probably the front office just was like, she's got to have a little more winning experience before we hand over a team that has 5 rings to somebody else. I don't think it was necessarily because she was a woman, but anybody that's not Pop, they're going to want somebody to have some really big experience, because look at the shoes that you have to fill. But what better person to fill Pop's shoes than his protege? So those are my expectations. I think that we're going to see some big games for Wemby. I think we're going to see the emergence of Devin Vassell as a possible all-star this year. Maybe an all-star. Keldon Johnson, maybe. It's tough. It's really tough in the West, so the competition is fierce. The top 12 teams are serious, and even the teams that are at the bottom right now, you don't expect them to be at the bottom. The Kings, you don't expect that, like they played really well last season, but they're injured. So these are my thoughts, and I think that's going to wrap it up for the first episode of season 4 of the Sip Off. Y'all can go ahead and give some shout outs if you want, and then we're going to call it a night.
Sounds good. I'll go real fast. Wednesday nights, I am on Kneecap Fighting with the Motor City Lions, the NFL Roundtable, hosted by Jeremy Ballrick. Thursday nights, I will be here, the Sip Off, hosted by the Queen of Hoops herself, Megan Price. Friday nights, I will be on Kneecap Fighting with the Motor City Lions with Jeremy Ballrick, talking about the Detroit Lions' upcoming games. And that's where you can find me.
All righty. Anybody else?
I'll be here. I'll definitely be here.
He said I'll be here.
I'm with you, JJ. I'll be here. You can find Cool and Dante freaking everywhere.
Okay, I like it. Go ahead and shout out y'all's projects real quick.
So me and Coach Dante real quick. You can find us on Sports Wave Network starting this Friday night.
Yep.
The Courtside View, talking all things NBA, basketball in general, but mainly focusing on the NBA. That'll be at 9 p.m. Of course, before that, you can catch me playcolorsportstalk.com/live every Friday. Play Color Sports Talk. Friday mornings, WDJYFM.com, TuneIn app, or you can go directly to the website, Play Color Sports Talk Live. And there's many other shows, but for the purpose of what I want people to listen to, right before you get ready to watch your morning games, Sunday mornings, I would like for you to go to WDRBmedia.com or go to your TuneIn app or Apple Music, wherever you get your podcast, find WDRB Media, and check out Cool in the Game. We're talking all things sports. All me, no filters. I don't have to listen to nobody else and their opinions. It's all me. And you'll love it.
Okay.
I will love it.
Y'all know, man, like Cool said, Sports Wave Network. Y'all already know the NBA podcast I will be on. Like I said, y'all can just find me all over the place, man. It was fun being on here. Expect me to be on here many more times and stuff like that. My daily supporting high school kids and Houston high school sports all around. So other than that, my schedule be pretty busy, but I say I'm always one phone call away, one message away, and one DM away. You already know.
That is the truth,
Right,
by
well,
the way. That is the
appreciate
truth.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. All right. Thank you, everybody that commented, shared the show. We appreciate y'all. And we will be back next Thursday. All right. Good night, guys.
Night, everybody.
Good night.